Hey! On this desk with me are my favorite things from 2021, and today we're going to be talking about them. Roll the intro. Hey, what's up? It's your favorite real-life anime schoolboy Nicholas here, back at it again with another video. So if you don't know me, I'm a pretty materialistic person. At least in the sense that I enjoy having stuff. I like to receive stuff, and whenever I can afford it, I like to give stuff to the people that I actually care about. Because gifts is one of my top-tier love languages. That's just the way that it goes for me, that's the way that it's always been. So it's not really when I say that I'm materialistic that I associate my worth with the things that I have. Not at all. I think that's really unhealthy. That being said though, I'm very particular about the stuff that I like to receive and the stuff that I end up really loving. So with the Christmas spirit and being festive and all that, I thought that it's as good a time as any to talk about my favorite things. Now you're probably assuming, based on the contents of what you can see on my desk, that I'm just gonna needlessly repeatedly talk about gear for the next 10 minutes. Not really, maybe half that time. But what I actually want to talk about today is just stuff that I really enjoy, ranging from gear to not gear. Now that being said, I feel like the easiest way to go about this is to start off with gear. So, let's get on with it. Starting off with number 1, my current favorite lens. The Sigma 16mm f1.4. Yeah, this is my favorite lens. This lens has done so much for me ever since I got it. It's pretty much my most reliable lens, from being 1.4 to really fast autofocus, to being wide enough for me to be able to take pictures of myself, videos of myself, and really good close-up macro shots, surprisingly, because of its minimum focus distance. This thing just allows me to do everything that I want on the go. This lens is tack sharp, the bokeh is gorgeous and smooth, and this thing opened up a whole new world for me in terms of shooting perspectives. So from being able to create content completely on my own, or just being able to document my life, this thing does it all. So if I was just told that I could only use one lens, I'd go with this. I have so much fun. It's not just that it's a very useful piece of kit, it's that I legitimately just have a lot of fun working with it. So there goes number 1. In conjunction with the 16mm, I have always wanted this lens, and I finally got it for myself on my birthday. And that is the Sigma 56mm 1.4. Coming from the same series as the 16mm, the 56mm does everything that the 16mm couldn't, aka be tight. I basically call this thing a cheat code. Actually, both of them. Point this at anything and all of a sudden the shot looks gorgeous because of the creamy bokeh at 1.4, you're able to shoot in low light, and that compression that you get from being 56mm, this is just perfect for anything that you want to be cinematic. You can completely rely on this, and I say that based on experience. I have shot 2 short films almost exclusively on this thing. It's a cheat code that just allows me to make anything look good at any time, and that's why it deserves a spot here. Next up is a thing that I use every day to hold up my camera setup anywhere that I go, and that is the PGY Tech Mantis Pod. Easily, hands down, this is my favorite fidget toy and tripod. Dare I say it, the Gorillapod Killer. This thing is super versatile. I bring it anywhere I go. I can put it on any surface that I want it to, pretty much. From its unique ball head, the amount of articulation that I have, from adjusting it to regular height to a shorter height, to being able to hang it off surfaces. It does so many things, it's a bang for your buck, and it's easily one of my favorite things, and easily one of the best gifts that I've ever received. I received this from my best friend and girlfriend. And it's just insane to think sometimes how much somebody understands what you care about and how much they're willing to go to show you that they care about it. It really means a lot, and this isn't just a piece of gear, this also holds a lot of sentimental value. She always heard me say that I didn't feel comfortable putting my camera on a Gorillapod because I couldn't trust the joints, and so she got this for me, and the moment that I received it, she told me she hoped that being able to see this and having this in my hands would inspire me to do more content, because now I have no excuse with regards to where I can mount my camera. And well, she was right. It really did inspire me. The reason why I've been making more videos, a lot of it has to do with me receiving this. And so, as much as I tell people not to rely on waiting for gear or having gear, sometimes the right gift from the right person at the right time might just be what you need to get yourself going. And that was definitely the case with this. It's an amazing piece of kit from an awesome, lovely person. Okay, we got a little bit heartfelt. Let's reel it back a little and go more into the materialistic end of things, huh? Next up is my Insta360 One X2. If you've watched my short film Moments in Time, you would know that it means a lot to me that I'm able to document my life. But the thing is, with my phone, documenting everything just is not efficient in terms of storage. With my cameras, they're not always ready to capture the moment. Either I don't know where to point, or I just happen to not have a lens wide enough, which is where this comes in. This is meant to solve all of those problems. As a 360 camera, I don't have to worry about which angle it's shooting because it shoots all angles. If I want my reaction, I capture my reaction. If I want my friends' reactions, I capture their reaction. So it's the perfect thing when it comes to just capturing the moment. Another thing is that this thing is waterproof. I could literally dunk this in the tub or go jumping off cliffs and not have to worry about the fact that this will be submerged. It shoots 5K, shoots slow motion, everything that I need, all packed into this tiny package. I just need something to capture the moment. It doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be the most aesthetic, I just need to get it, and this thing absolutely gets it. Next up, my iPad Pro. I got my iPad mainly because at the time I was doing a lot of stuff on the go, and I caught myself being away from home, wishing that I could do more work. And so after a couple months of saving, I decided to get myself the fully kitted out iPad Pro 11 with the Magic Keyboard. And this thing lived up exactly to what I thought that it would be and more. Being able to multitask is a big deal for me, so being able to have pretty much 3 applications running all at the same time was pretty much life-changing. Add to that the Magic Keyboard, the clickety-clackety noises are quite satisfying, and it opened up the door for me to be able to take most of my work along with me in such a slim package. Now, this D-brand white marble skin and this Apple Pencil with my name on it, they're also gifts from my girlfriend. Yeah, she's insane with the gifts. It's honestly ridiculous, and sometimes I feel very, very guilty because I don't feel like she should invest that. Anyway, I really appreciate them. Now, as much as I rave about and absolutely love my iPad Pro, it does not do everything. And that is where this thing comes in handy. That is the M1 Mac Mini. I decided to buy an M1 Mac Mini, and it was easily one of the best decisions I made for myself. It just skyrocketed my productivity and my motivation to create content. Regardless of whatever I want to do with this thing, 90% of the time, it just does it. This rig has been chugging content non-stop, from my client work to YouTube to my personal stuff, Instagram stuff, to now my video editing job. I have been able to carry all that with an iPad, with an iPhone, and now a Mac Mini. And I think the results speak for themselves. Oh, and one last thing. This thing actually can run Google Chrome. So now next up is actually something that is much, much simpler and much, much cheaper than everything I've mentioned up to this point. And that is my knife. You've seen this in a couple videos, I'm pretty sure. This is my Schrade knife, specifically the Schrade SCH-502. This thing has come in clutch for a lot of my needs. I bring it with me anywhere, even around the house, when I need to open up something or I need to cut something on the go. And I mean, yeah, if I get attacked, I'm ready to stabby stab somebody, you know? I got this for around 20 bucks, I think. This is an extremely useful thing, and I highly recommend people to have at least even just a tiny pocket knife with them. Now, the next thing in my list of favorite things is actually something that's also not from me. It's another one of my girlfriend's gifts, and yeah, it's also easily one of the best things that I have ever received on my birthday. And I'm actually wearing it right now. This, my camera harness. Not only does this thing make me feel like Nathan Drake from Uncharted, but it is also useful as hell. I wear this every time that I go out, and I know that I'll need my camera on the go in the moment, and I just know that I can unhook it anytime I need to. And when I don't, I can just hook it back on and be confident in the fact that it's not just gonna slip over my shoulder and fall to its death, like Black Widow. This is another one of those things that supports my philosophy in being able to capture the moment and being ready for that moment. And so it is a piece of gear, but at the same time, it looks pretty damn good. And so the aesthetic just fits so perfectly. And just as the perfect cherry on top, my girlfriend decided to custom order this off Etsy and have my logo at the very back of it. So not only is this a really nice fashion piece and a really nice piece of gear, but it's something very, very unique to me. I've always wanted this for the longest time, and she decided to stop me from buying it myself and decided to take it on for herself. And it means a lot more now that it actually came from somebody else who matters a lot in my life. And she gave it at a pretty significant time in my life too. I love its aesthetic to death. I love the touch that it has my logo on it. Obviously, narcissist. It literally is the #1 thing that always gets compliments aside from my hair. Everybody always asks about this, and I never get tired of being able to tell the story and being able to say that, yeah, thanks, this is easily one of the best birthday gifts I've ever received, and it's from my girlfriend. Now, before we go on, I want to make an honorable mention, and those are these, my Aperture MCs. I use these as part of my house lights. The reason why I wanted to list them here is because they do help me get myself into that creative mood. Being able to control my lights just on my phone as soon as I wake up or whenever I want, and being able to place them anywhere I want has been super useful in just coloring any room that I want at any given moment. They're the heroes of being able to make my videos look as aesthetic as they do, as easily and as effortlessly as they do, as well as being able to do the same for my day-to-day life. The next item on my list is something that I can't even show on camera because I can't lift it up because it's a bloody couch that transforms into a bed. I started hating my bed previous to this. It was just causing me constant back pains. I hated getting up from it. I didn't like the height of the bed. I didn't like the size of the bed. It was occupying too much space. I'm really nitpicking because for all intents and purposes, it was a completely harmless, decent bed, but it wasn't for me. And so lo and behold, after finding something on Rooms to Go that was a sectional sofa that converted into a bed, I was completely set. And credit where credit is due, I did not do this by myself at all. So as much as I've already expressed this countless times in person, I know that saying this on camera would mean something to them too. Thank you so much for my parents for getting me this sofa bed. It is marvelous. When I need to save space, I can convert it into a sofa. When I need to rest, I can convert it to a bed. It's more than what I need, and it's the kind of furniture that I don't feel I'll ever need to replace for a very long time. For the most part on this list, I've refrained from listing fashion items, but now I'm gonna break that because I want to mention my favorite shoes. These are my Nike Frees that I got in 2018. These shoes have been referred to by my friends and myself as my Spider-Man shoes, and for good reason. It has a really nice, stretchy, breathable material, and it's just the most comfortable pair of shoes that I have ever worn my entire life. And I literally wear these in any occasion that's appropriate. Going to the city, going out to the woods, knowing that I'm gonna shoot or I'm gonna have to climb something, going around the tops of buildings and roof-topping and playing drums, basically anything under the sun that I know I need to be flexible, I need to be comfortable, I need to move fast. I know that I should be wearing these. Oh, and as a kicker, I got them for like 60 bucks. Next up on my list is the thing that I hook onto my harness if it's not a camera. And that is my massive water bottle. This thing has taken a beating over the years. I've had this since around 2017, and it has gone with me through thick and thin. It's scratched and beat up, and yet it still works like a charm. And as a lover of cold drinks, I cannot express to you how much it means to me as a person who lives in Texas to have this be cold at the end of the day, because I hate heat. And this thing just helps me chug along literally through those times. And it still holds up. Still really happy with it. I wouldn't trade it. Throughout all of this, we have been talking about birthday gifts. I've mentioned mine. I've mentioned my girlfriend's gifts to me. But the thing is, despite my best efforts to make sure that I give myself the best gifts that I could ever receive for this year specifically, my parents just couldn't let themselves lose this round. And so this next item is something that I can't believe that I call it mine, and that is my Roland Juno DS88. Yeah, an 88 key keyboard. I started self-studying the piano 5 months ago, by ear, on my own. But yeah, one day, a week before my birthday, I woke up, opened my door, and outside my doorstep was just this enormous box just standing out there. And I was in shock because I immediately realized what the hell it was. So now I have it. The weighted, pressure-sensitive 88 keys of this keyboard was a massive jump from the beginner 66 key that I was practicing on. Hell, I don't even have proper room for it. It's on my bed still. I do so much for myself. I get so much for myself, but whenever they do something for me, it's just on a completely different level. It does not go past my head to acknowledge and to realize that I'm very privileged and fortunate to be in this position, and I'm grateful for it. The last thing on my desk is probably something that you would never expect to see on this list, and that is my car key. yeah, the next item on this list is not in this room. It's outside in the garage. And it's not some epic custom sports car or anything. It's a 2006 Toyota Camry. That car has been with me through so many changes and phases and seasons of my life. It was my car when I was struggling to get clients and getting paid well with my photography and my video work. And it's the car that I drove to go to places that I'd never been, to meet people that I never would have known, to share stories, lives, and capture memories that I otherwise wouldn't have had, to have moments in time that I'll never get back. And the beautiful thing about it is that that car didn't cost a lot. That car isn't the fanciest thing ever, despite the fact that it's gone through cosmetic damage, or that it's secondhand, or that it doesn't even play Bluetooth, despite all the things that other people would not appreciate about it. I love it nonetheless because of how far it's taken me. Not in terms of distance, but in terms of progress. I am not left wanting more. And I know it's a lot of sentiment to be put on a box on wheels, but I suppose you can think of it this way. I'm reeling back to talking about a car, an inexpensive secondhand car, and how much I love it because I want to display my gratefulness, not because of how expensive or fancy a thing is, but because I can be grateful for the value that something provides, regardless of the value that the rest of the world puts on it. The things that I have, regardless of their price tag, regardless of how fancy they might seem, they're not the best of the best. None of what I have is, but none of that matters to me. And that's why I can be as grateful and as happy with a beat up water bottle as much as I can be with the expensive things on this table. I don't want it to be your takeaway from this video that you need the things that I have. One thing that I know for sure is that the fact of the matter is when I didn't have these things, I used to look at them and wish that I had them because my life would change completely if I did. But as soon as I had them, I realized that it was still up to me. Regardless of the things that they unlocked in my life, if I don't adopt a mindset of being satisfied with what I have, I will keep on wanting, keep on wishing, keep on looking forward to the point where I miss what's directly in front of me. And for the longest time, that's who I was. At the end of the day, if I had the mindset of my younger self, I still wouldn't be happy, even if I had everything I wanted. What matters to me the most is what I get to do with what I have, however little or however major the thing that I have is. That's the thing with me. I just wanted to share my personal enthusiasm with the things that I love to have, that I'm very grateful that I have, and the excitement that I still feel being able to see these things and being able to know the story behind them, the journey that it took for me to get there, or the people that were there that bothered and cared enough to think about me and go out of their way to get them for me. It means a lot, and it's not all about me. It's also about everybody else that has been there. These things that I love, my favorite things, they're the things that remind me of those stories, of those people. They're tangible reminders of that love. And as cheesy as this is, I hope that you get to remind somebody of that too. That even with a simple gift or a letter, you get to tell them, hey, love you. And that's something that they can hold on to. I hope that somebody comes away from this with something for themselves. And that maybe somebody else can learn the same lesson that I learned for myself. That as much as being frugal and saving money is important, there are also times when you can and probably should pause just for a little bit and realize to tell yourself in that moment that, hey, treat yourself this time. You've earned it. So to close this out, I hope you liked this video. If you did, leave a like, go and subscribe, leave a comment down below if you feel like it, and follow me on Instagram @sentientpoison and @Lolin if you want to see my photography. That's it from us for now. Happy holidays. Hope you have a good one. Cheers. If you're suddenly confused why me, an edgelord, is holding an egg plush, good! This is actually one of my favorite things ever. Am I gonna tell you why? No. Bye.